Robin.
William Shatner making his way down the hall. God damn, does he look good for his age. Nah, he looks good no matter what.
And he's walking in.
He's walking in as we speak.
Yes.
The great William Shatner.
There he is. William Shatner.
I used to be.
The great William Shatner.
You're greater than ever, I believe.
All right, buddy.
You know what?
How are you?
I made a faux pas. I said, William Shatner looks great for his age. And then I went, no, he just looks great.
Oh, my God.
You look just great.
Well, I feel I'm on top of the world.
You are. You're conquering all types of entertainment avenues.
Yes.
You're all over the place.
I've conquered everything.
Yes. TV, music, movies, of course, and now a live show.
Don't forget the porn.
Well, yeah,
Porn?
of course.
Did you ever conquer radio?
You know, I don't know about conquering radio, but I started off in radio.
You did?
Yes,
I did radio drama, radio things. I did all kinds of radio in Montreal.
With the Foley work, where you had to make the noises and stuff?
With the Foley, yeah.
I only know that word from Anthony. I just know it as the noises you got to make.
The noises. Yes, the movie noises and radio noises.
Yes, you're riding into the sunset.
And now, whoa, Kimosabe.
You did a few westerns in your day, and you're an equestrian. You like horses.
I am. We do radio and horses and horse shows and raise money for kids.
You still ride?
Still, my greatest achievement, my singular greatest achievement in my lifetime is I won a saddle in a horse competition. I got the highest points and something or other, and they gave me a really good saddle. And I use that saddle, and it has high point winner on whatever it is on the, and it's no award that I've ever received equals the prestige and the value of this saddle.
Of winning that saddle.
And my wish for years was a belt buckle. If only I could win a belt buckle. I would wear it instead of around my waist. I'd wear it around like a tiara. Around your waist. If you've got any kind of a pot, your pot spills over your belt buckle, right? Yeah. So it's disguised. There's a little sliver of silver beneath your belly. But on your head,
that is
especially if you've got lights on it, like twinkling lights.
What type of
your belt buckle?
Really, it'd be beautiful.
What type of competitions? What type of competitions?
Reining. Yeah. Do you know that? You're nodding your head like like the New York boy knows what I'm talking about.
No,
reining. I got it.
I was
in Jersey. We have it.
No, I was raised out in San Juan Capistrano. And I did a lot of riding when I was a kid, a lot of Western. I did Gymkhana, pole bending barrel.
All right, so then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Sliding stops and where four turns around, changing lanes fast and slow.
Yeah. All the cleaning.
I'm winning. At my age, I'm against 18-year-olds who were born in a saddle, and I am knocking on the door every time I'm on a horse.
Reining all about control.
It's a dressage. It is control.
When did you win the saddle?
A couple of years ago, and I won a belt buckle this year.
Oh, you did get your belt buckle.
Buckle.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Why aren't you wearing it on your head?
Yeah.
It is. People think it's part of me.
A belt buckle, that is, because in riding, a belt buckle is a very prestigious award. Like
exactly. You see these cowboys with their big belt buckles. You could buy a belt buckle that says, good, or New York City or something like that. But it doesn't say champion.
When you win it.
It's like getting the Academy Award.
It is.
Yeah.
You're into so many things, and boy, you haven't slowed down. It's great. What's this Broadway show about?
Listen, you and we've all become buddies over the years coming in here,
big stars,
and talking, and so the interview becomes something about myself,
right?
And I tell you an incident and try and intrigue you into whatever it is I've done that I'm trying to acquaint the public with. Like the last time we were talking was about my record.
Yes.
Well, many of those stories are amplified, are really interesting. They're aspects of my life. Like, for example, you were talking about the riding. Well, I tell a story about a horse that I bought that was the most glorious horse that ever was. His name was Great Day. And how I made him into a breeding horse. And once he became a breeding horse, they started putting pawing chains on him. And then they put kicking chains on him. And they put poles on him to keep him from savaging himself because he would get so agitated. And this gorgeous animal that I had fallen in love with, I finally incarcerated in solitary confinement. And then he died. But he died in a particular way that I tell in the one-man show. And it's poignant. And that's just a moment.
Did he die in a funny way?
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
No, it wasn't funny. And you're always looking for the laugh.
I don't know, with his legs up in the air or something?
This horse reared.
Oh, it's poignent.
At the last, poignant means sort
different
of sad,
than funny.
Right?
Yes, I know. Sorry.
There's somebody in your staff right now like a P-O-I-N-G.
Maybe they're not going P-O-I-G, they're going P-O-Y.
Right, exactly.
Maybe I should have picked up on the poignant part.
You know what's so
listening
ironic?
would be really good.
You know what's so ironic? Bill, for so many years, I have watched Bill and his crew being in chains and captured by some alien race. Yeah. And you, through eloquent speech, kind of talk your way out of being locked up and enslaved and chained. And then, ironically enough, your own horse suffers one of the fates that you did in many Star Trek episodes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes,
yes. I want to plug where it is, by the way. February 14th through 24th, Music Box Theater. Tickets are at shatnersworld.com. It's on Broadway.
It's opening in a one-man show on Broadway, February 16th, through the March 4th limited run.
Can we go?
And then I'm on tour. Yeah, of course. You all can go.
Free?
And come. And listen, the tickets aren't very expensive. And this show is so successful that I think you should invite a large number of the members of your audience.
Yes.
I would love to go see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over the years, I think people have realized you are a fantastic storyteller. I think during when you were doing the talk show and seeing you in public and doing interviews like this, you realized that William Shatner is a very good storyteller.
No, you used the word fantastic. Why don't you stay with fantastic instead of descending to good?
Yes, no, but really, it's mediocre. I mean, where are we going with this? It's downgrading.
It's fantastic.
You were very funny, by the way, on the Zach Wilde roast. Your video was hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
He did a very, very in poor taste video. It was very, very funny.
Well, Zach Wilde is quite a character. And, talking about characters, on the Charlie Sheen roast, which I was on briefly, to see Patrice. I don't know whether you know this, and forgive me as I tell it to you. Patrice Oneal was, in my opinion, sensational on the Charlie Sheen roast because, first of all, he lay across the dais in fatigue. We didn't understand that. And he just laid out in absolutely realistic terms, which were so funny, the idiocy of doing a roast. Okay, so that was funny. And then he talked to me personally on the air, what are you doing? And I answered him back by saying, what you're doing right now it's incredibly funny because it's so real, because nobody else is going there, okay? When we went to get our cars, he was there. And my wife Elizabeth and I and he engaged in a very serious conversation about his diabetes and about his sort of giving up. And she put her arms around him and urged him not to. And sobbing, Patrice, sobbing, three of us, tears, we parted. In that instant, we had become so close for a second.
Wow. Yeah.
And then we left, and then...
That story, he told us that story.
It
did affect him a lot. Yeah, we were very close to him.
Yeah.
That did affect him a lot.
He made fun of it a little bit, but you could tell.
He joked about it, but
he was touched
really
by it.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. There you are, the comic's instinct to joke about this incredible moment when we urged him to take care of himself.
Yeah.
And
you said his body was going to quit on him or something, or break down. And it affected him, and he really thought about it, and he heard it.
He listened to his body, and he realized, some instinct in him realized that he was going to go.
If you could, would you shoot him in a photon torpedo case down onto the Genesis planet, and then perhaps we could take him back?
See, the instinct is there. Get away from the death. The people don't want to hear about that.
No,
he doesn't like it.
You've always cheated.
He gets
death,
uncomfortable.
is what I'm saying. You've always cheated death. And I was just wondering if you would send him down to the Genesis planet if you had the power.
See. No, yes. I would resurrect him into a...
Out of all the comics I've known, he is the most human.
You're so bad. But I tell you, a laugh line, and he would have them. A laugh line is a work of art, isn't it? I mean, a good joke is everything. Yeah. I mean, it's like a fine painting, a good joke.
We were.
And by the way, I strive to find them in the one-man show.
Yes.
So seriously,
good luck finding them on this show.
Let's not forget about the one-man show.
It was a good joke. I think.
Yeah, I'm sure your show will be great. And I would love to go and go backstage after and go.
Yeah, come backstage.
Good job.
Absolutely.
You go, Jim. Thank you. I'm glad you came. And I'll go.
Oh, and
that Patrice story, I believe, was pointent.
It was pointed.
Yeah, there you are.
I just want William to know I know the word.
Yeah, I wish
try using a word like that every day.
Yeah. And what I was getting at with the horse, because Animal House, the horse died silly, so I thought you might have had one of those.
No. The horse died
so much.
The horse died noble.
Noble.
You see?
Oh, okay.
I know what noble means.
Got a last.
Well, you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm noble.
Got to be a proud horse again for the last time. Oh,
that's exactly the way the story goes.
Good.
Really?
That is good.
How long is the show?
Show is 94, 97
That's perfect. Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No intermission.
How long have you been rehearsing it?
Well, I toured it in Australia. I toured it in Canada in a somewhat different form. But when I was asked to come to New York, I honed it down. I leaned it down. I'm being held to a different standard. And it's somewhat different. Basically the same, but somewhat different. And the audience reactions in both those other countries were superb, which is the reason why I was invited down here. So I've got my fingers crossed that the New York audience will accept me in the same way.
Absolutely.
Do you use video too, or pictures, or is it just?
I do. There's some projection of events and things like that. For example, riding bareback. I had to do so in a movie, Alexander the Great. Well, now, come on. There are others. Definitions.
It might be a generational thing.
Actually, riding bareback.
Riding bareback sort of spans the generation. There's a commonality among us all about the bareback.
Yeah.
But riding bareback on a horse presents a number of problems.
Yeah.
Some are obvious, and some are not. Like getting up. How do you get on the horse?
It does take a good swing. You grab onto that little piece of mane and just swing your legs up.
Yes, but what if you have a cape and a sword and a skirt and a boot? And
right. That's a little
presents
rough.
a problem. And what did the Greeks? Because this was Alexander the Great. What did the Greeks wear under their kilts?
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. That gets a little.
It gets a little touchy.
Did they wear nothing under their kilts?
Well, who knows? That was 2,300. What do Scots wear under their kilts?
Yeah.
I notice I've got all your attention now. Your attention was wavering when I was talking about nobility and poignancy, but talk about getting what do Scots wear under their kilts has got your attention.
Horse bareback and without any undergarments on, that would be a little messy.
Especially, if you're the proud possessor of a large sword.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
They did it in China for centuries. Nobody noticed. When they got to Greece, it was a problem.
Because I could attest.
You mean those horses were small?
Yeah.
Right.
I could attest that even with pants on and the proper undergarment, you still sometimes, if the horse takes a misstep, you can get hurt.
Yes.
Down there, yes.
Now, in your experience, as a question. Men get hurt. I mean, a horse stops suddenly, you can't ride for several minutes. What do women get pleasure out of it?
Well, I have. When I was riding, it was at a stable, and there was a lot of there were girls there, and they would ride bareback a lot. And
scream.
It did look like they were
and
enjoying
ecstasy
themselves.
with the horse.
Yes,
the guys would ride bareback, and you'd be grimacing the whole time.
And
girls are just having fun. No, trot, damn it! And they hit the horse.
And then you got to tell her, get on top of the horse. She's like,
oh, Jimmy!
Did the girls lean forward just slightly?
They would,
for their pleasure.
Are you imagining?
Pleasure?
Are you imagining with some poignancy what it used to be like?
Yes,
I am. Sir.
It was very hard for a guy. You would literally have to squeeze with your legs to keep yourself off of the back of the horse a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that
squeeze
backbone.
With your knees.
Some horses' backbones are ridged rather than having a coating of flesh so it's soft.
Right.
There's a ridge there that gets in your way a lot.
And if you get a slightly rotund horse, the back will be a little flat. And you could actually sit on there with a little more comfort.
That's right, and then slide off.
And slide off, yes, yeah. Well, there are the pluses and minuses. I'd rather slide off than have that ridge up your ass.
You ever break bones riding?
Oh, my gosh. One of the stories I tell is my wrecking my leg. A horse falls on me. Have you ever had that? The horse rears up, and it looks like it's going to crush you and die. And at the last instant, it fell over and landed on my leg. Now I've got my leg, and I go to get, the horse rolls one way, I roll the other. I go to get up. I can't get up. I rise, I fall. I rise, I fall. And that moment, years later, informs me on how to play a critical scene in the movie Star Trek.
Oh, man.
Is that an interesting story?
Which movie?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because you got to come and see the show.
I got to guess.
Can't you give us
a critical
one
scene?
He won't give us one story.
No, he's just teasing.
Well, I'm teasing you the story. How about trying to land a a tail dragger airplane for the first time? I've been taught how to do aerobatics. Okay, I'm checked out in aerobatics by a military instructor. I've done a week. They've sent me up solo for the first time.
Wow.
In a pit special, which is an aerobatic airplane. The sun is setting because the light is good, and you have to land. And the only way you land a tail dragger is by lining up on the runway. And then when you're over the runway, you look down to see if you're on the runway, and then you go, and then you land.
Wow.
Because, as you can imagine, you're in a flare position, the nose is high, you can't see in front of you like you can in the Cessna, which lands on a bicycle.
On strike gear. Oh, my God.
And I missed the runway.
So you're off the runway.
I'm off the runway.
But he's not going to tell us what happened.
No, because the sun sets.
We know you lived.
Well, now, the answer to all these questions are at the Music Box Theater.
He's always the best.
Starting February 16th.
February 14th. We had the 14th.
February, well, that's the previews. 14th and 15th are the previews. I open February 16th, and I run until March 4th. And then I begin... a week after that, a 15-city tour.
Are we invited to the...
you are invited.
The 14th through the 16th?
Invited.
Right. Can I ask you this?
Please.
When the horse fell on you, what injuries did you get in real life?
They mashed my leg. And I was taken to a hospital, and there was an adventure there, too.
Did you tell? At the
yes, I'll give you the line that Patrice would have loved. Okay. I'm asked to pee in the bottle. And I'm sitting, I can't move. So I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, peeing into the bottle with the curtains closed, and the curtains open up. And a nurse looks at me. She looks at me. She says, "Oh my God, I'm your biggest fan." Does that sound like a fun show?
Yeah.
Does that sound like a show you want to go see?
It would have been a better story if it was George Takei.
No, that's a different story.
I would absolutely go.
That has a poignancy to it that I don't.
You talk about your career, too, obviously, some career stories.
I go through my life and tell you incidences. You know, the questions of who you are, what you are, why am I here, they're all rhetorical questions because there's no answer. I mean, why are you here?
True, yeah.
But if you were to say, well, this is what I've done, this is what I hear, what I used to do, this is what I'd like to do, you figure it out. Why am I here? Mm-hmm. And essentially, that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you aspects of my life that I think are interesting, a couple of which I've just mentioned, and then perhaps you can help me come to a conclusion. Who am I? What am I?
Do you take time off? You're very interesting to me because you work, like every time we see you, it's a new project. It was the book and the CD last time.
Always different.
Now it's this time. It's this TV project. It's like every time you're doing something. It's like what an amazing life to always be doing something. It is,
and that's what I mean, to me, it's like ordinary. A few weeks ago, a couple months ago, on a Thursday, I was directing a documentary on the last Xena convention, okay? And the people who go. I flew on Friday to New Orleans and did a speaking engagement on Saturday in New Orleans. Flew back Saturday night to Los Angeles and continued filming the Xena convention on a Sunday. Now, that to me is like, that's my life.
You enjoy that, though, don't you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I don't want to go from home. I want to be on a horse. I want to be with my wife. I want to be with my grandchildren. But that's my life. And here I am doing reams of publicity. It's 4 o'clock in the morning for me. Getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning for me. I'm up at 4 o'clock my time in order to tell you guys I'm doing this one-man show, which is, scary. It's scary going on stage at the Music Box Theater alone. Yeah. But all I've got is the proof that it worked before. It should work again.
And you're a legend who doesn't. That's the amazing part. Is you for many years could have relaxed and done nothing, and every time it's not just a new bullshit project. It's like a really involved work. Like a one-man show is a real thing. That's 90 minutes of performing alone.
Right.
And you've transcended the Star Trek thing. You've gone beyond that to become, you're William Shatner. It's not like, hey, it's Captain Kirk. You've worked on so many other projects now. That's part of your life, but it doesn't define you anymore.
And that's exactly one of the themes of the one-man show.
Oh, okay.
I speak for about 15 minutes about Star Trek, but not, Captain Kirk. And I talk about aspects that you guys wouldn't know about, like how my relationship with the National Aeronautics Space Administration, NASA. My relationship with them and what happened, like the last wake-up call on the last shuttle. On the last morning was I woke them up.
Oh, right. Yeah. Wow.
So it's a wow. And that's what I hope you'll say time and again in this one-man show. Wow.
Well, all the years you've been famous, who was somebody that was a fan of yours that you were surprised about? Like, I'm a big, I grew up watching you, I love you, and you're like, oh, Jesus. I really have made it.
You've just surprised me.
Well, Jimmy Norton.
No, but I'm not a fan.
That surprises me too.
I guess what Jimmy's saying, you've met everyone, but has there been
Obama.
one guy where you went, oh wow, now I'm impressed?
If I said President Obama, would you believe me?
He's a big Star Trek nerd. He said, I'm a big nerd for Star. He said he's a big fan. And it's that's got to be kind of amazing.
Have you met Obama?
No.
No.
So you don't believe me?
I would believe that.
All kinds of people from every walk of life. It just absolutely surprised me. I'll tell you one.
Yeah.
I had to do. I was going essentially around the world in order to film.
You were in orbit.
I was in orbit. No, don't say orbit. Say Priceline.com.
Oh, damn.
Damn.
That Priceline.com. Wow.
Oh, I know.
I got that in, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
You certainly did. And in the roast video, too. I couldn't be there because Priceline doesn't book direct flight. Yeah, you were very funny.
There was a time that company was going to crash and burn, and then all of a sudden it came back.
It did. It crashed and burned.
It
did. It did officially crash and burn, right?
It was the dot-com bubble.
Yep.
And I had all this stock. And I couldn't sell it because you're tied up when you're an original member.
Yeah.
And so it crashes and burns. With stock's worth pennies. So I sell it. It's worth pennies.
Oh, man.
It came back to whatever it is now.
Can me and Ann talk to you about it again? That's the first time we met Shatner, and you don't even remember because, we were just nobodies.
I remember every moment on the Opie.
Anthony actually imitated you before and had to introduce you on stage at the big Priceline We're All Millionaires party that we had to go to.
Oh, really?
But we didn't have the stock like everyone else in the room. It was a big warehouse. What? North of the city?
Yeah,
you were.
Yeah.
And these guys went from like no money to we're all millionaires.
But I had sold my stock
before that
for about $5,000. Yeah, I made about $5,000.
Nice.
And all these guys were. I don't know whether they held them because so many people bailed out.
Yeah.
This was early on when they went from we had this stock.
The stock came out at, I don't know, $5, $7, something like that. And it went to $150 during the dot-com bubble. And everybody's saying, we're rich. As soon as we can sell, we're going to sell because you're locked up. Then it crashed while you were locked up.
Oh, that makes me feel much better about what we saw
I hope
that day.
So. I now see this poignant smile on your face.
I feel better now because we're walking around like, well, we're not rich like these people. These guys went from what we were to millionaires.
And now they're back to what you are.
But you're trying to tell me they never officially were millionaires.
No.
Fuck, that's great.
Paper millionaires.
Can you say that word on the air?
Yes.
Sorry.
We encourage it.
Sorry, you want to say one?
Didn't the FDA, I was going to say, FCC...
not satellite, no, we're free. We can do
didn't that just cost you $500,000?
It would have on regular terrestrial.
That would have been.
Radio,
well, what are we on?
Satellite.
Satellite.
I don't even know why.
Get away! There's nobody listening to us.
Exactly.
You finally realized after all these years.
After all these years, there's 7 people in Poughkeepsie.
This is satellite.
Why am I wasting my time?
All these years you thought we were just saying shit and getting in trouble for it?
That happens.
So wait, what story? You were just telling a story. What was it?
Yes.
Oh, about the person
You
who's a
said
surprising one. Who was a fan.
So I've got to go around the world in order to film this documentary I directed called The Captains. I was here on it, in which we played on the aircraft carrier, the Intrepid here. The sun is setting, and the lights of New York on one side, the sun setting, and we're playing The Captains, one of the great moments of my life. And I had to go around the world in an airplane. I had to go commercial. I couldn't go commercial. It was too fast, too much. I just couldn't do it physically. And I called the head of Bombardier, America's great airplane manufacturer, and called. I say, listen, can you help me? And the head of the company, Steve Rodolfi, says, I'll help you. And he lends me an airplane.
He lends you an airplane.
And I land in Toronto to pick up equipment and stuff, and he meets me at the airplane. He says, I would not have become an aeronautical engineer and thusly move up the company to become CEO of something or other there, if it hadn't been for you.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Is that a wild thing?
That's a good trade-off.
It was a great trade-off.
Yeah.
Of course, the Bombardier airplane is featured in the documentary, but what an extraordinary moment.
But to be able to call the head of an airline, that to me is the greatest part. Like, I just called the head of the airline. It's fun to be you.
Or do you get to call,
but I had a Volkswagen, sort of an expensive Volkswagen, and the transmission fell out. And here's the payoff for them. So I called the guy that I bought. He says, well, I can't help you there. I said, this is ridiculous. This is an expensive car. And the transmission's just stopped. I'm going to call the head of the company. I call the head of North American Volkswagen. What's going on here? I bought an expensive car. He said, you're right. And they replaced the transmission free of charge.
So you got on the phone. Did he know you were calling, or did you just go, hi, this is William Shatner?
Well, I said no. It was a cold call. And and here is what I think. And this is for your audience.
Yes.
I think that anybody who's doing something that they're selling to the public is very conscious of the fact that they want their product to be well received by the public. And part of their job is to take a public complaint and to do something about it. So if you've got a real complaint, a legitimate complaint about something you've bought that should work and doesn't work, you have a reason to call, not only, first of all, the people who sold it to you, and then move up the line. It's only a phone call. I'm calling to friggin' complain. I don't know for sure we're on satellite today.
We might have went back to regular radio.
Right, exactly. About this product.
Although it's a different effect if, like, say Sam, who is Sam, he's that zilch in the corner. Now, if he calls, is a little different than when you pick up the phone and there's an icon on the other end.
You can recognize his voice.
No, but then you could say, this is Sam, the zilch in the corner,
right?
that is complaining about your product, and you will get attention.
Yeah, you're right. And also, I've written letters to Continental Airlines when I've had issues, and they have gotten back to me and fixed it, because if you take the time to do that, they think it's worth helping you.
Most major companies have a department of 1 or 50 people who are whose job it is to take care of the public complaints.
Dear Continental Airlines, there's a man on the wing, and I was very disappointed with my trip. It was very frightening. For some reason, Bill, that wife that you had in that show, right? You just had a nervous breakdown in the show, The Twilight Zone, A Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, and why didn't she sit by the window and you tell her, look, you want to help me? Look out the window the entire flight. Just stay awake and look. I'm going to sit here and not have to deal with that thing on the wing.
That's why you're doing radio.
Yeah.
And you're not in dramaturgy and television.
Is that it? I thought it was good that I was thinking more.
Suspension of disbelief.
Oh.
That's what it is. Suspension of disbelief, which you don't have to do, by the way, on February 16th.
It's all real.
It's all real.
And it's all you.
And it's all me. And I'm telling you things that that the logic of which is what your mind is going going to. I fit. You will be so logically at home.
No confusion.
Are you on Twitter? I'm sorry to interrupt, Jen.
Yeah.
You are.
I saw a statistic that I'm very popular on Twitter.
Of course you are.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Are you William Shatner on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. You got the name.
Yeah. Well, that's
of course you did.
Well, who else would I be?
There might be some William Shatner
in the corner.
There might be a William Shatner in Canada that doesn't want to give your name away.
Hey, what professor from a community college.
Yeah. What kind of guy was Rod Serling? Because I've met very, very few people that ever met Rod Serling.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a mysterious guy.
He is. He was a very...
Did you get to know him at all, or was he...
I worked with him in live television. By the way, I tell some live television stories. I'm a relic from those days. He was very hard to know. I, of course, was a young actor and was in awe of all the stuff I was doing, so I wouldn't have approached him like I would now.
Right.
Say, what kind of a guy are you? But he was removed. I'm sure he was very warm, and his wife, the last thing I knew, was still alive and speaking very fondly of him.
Now?
Recently. So he was, but he was a terrifically creative guy, and the people that he surrounded himself with, the writers that he surrounded himself, I got to know. I did a movie with one of them, and they all came and helped this writer, and the movie I did, which this writer wrote, these guys, this group of people that he surrounded himself with, called themselves the Green Thumb, and among them were Richard Matheson, and who's become so famous as a writer, I think director as well, producer. Just as an incidental story, the writer of the movie, which was called, I'll think of it in a second, he died of the disease where you age so quickly.
Progeria?
Progeria.
Progeria?
Well, that's for kids, though.
He's 30 years old. He's finished the movie. It's his greatest triumph. We did it from a book that he had written. So and we go down south and make the movie, and all his friends are with him. It's the most glorious moment in his life as a writer. A movie is produced of a book that he wrote, and all his friends are around him, and we all love him, and we make the movie, and it's like great. And in about a year, he becomes 95.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Is that science fiction or what?
Wow. Man.
And he died, right?
And he died.
You know what? A shot of adrenaline probably would have fixed him, like Bones gave you guys when you got old in that episode because you went down to the planet. And remember that one?
I love you.
And you were old. And then,
I love you.
And then Bones went, adrenaline. You gotta give it adrenaline, because he was all old, and it worked.
Oh my God! I wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen Star Trek and I've watched it, but I know very little of
it. Me too.
Me too. I've forgotten more than you remember.
Oh, you can forget.
You smoke pot, William? Did you ever smoke pot?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
No, they used to. It's a great drug. What are you talking about?
I'm thinking about doing it again.
It was
you mean like
groovy
now?
In the day?
Yeah, why not? It's been about, 20 years for me.
Well, why do you bring that subject up?
I don't know. You just kind of...
just introduce the subject.
You kind of laugh at things.
Oh. Well,
like a pothead would.
You seem high.
In a good way. And
You
seem a little high right now.
No. I'm drinking tea here. Okay. No, that's me. I take decaffeinated beverages all the time.
Yeah.
My coffee is decaf. I don't need caffeine. And I've been actually, other people have said that, you see, but I don't take drugs anymore.
Yeah, I've been clean for a really long time.
Yeah, occasional grass cigarette when in the day. It was terrific.
Now the younger William Shatner that you were talking about, like doing the Twilight Zones and stuff like that, and now, what would you say is the biggest difference that let's not say age, we'll say experience has given you between those years?
Well, on the show. On the one-man show at the Music Box Theater, I talk about going on stage as an understudy without any rehearsal in the longest speaking role in the English language.
Oh man!
Okay, I'd only rehearsed it because I was in a little room at the theater. I lived in a small one-room thing while I was at this classical theater, Stratford, and I was understudying Henry V. And I was drilling it for some reason. I don't know why I was drilling the words into my head. But there had been no rehearsals because we were playing at night and rehearsing something else during the day. Understudy rehearsals were going to be held weeks from now. But for some reason, I was drilling these words, and every time I came to a loud speech where historically, the historical drama, there was this declamation, once more into the... I'd go into the toilet and flush. I'd sit in the john and flush the toilet so that nobody would hear me. Right. And then went on. I was asked to go on in a role, in the largest speaking role in the English language. I went on without any rehearsal, without ever having done it out loud before.
And how did it go?
It went extremely well. I'm telling you that because I was a callow youth and arrogant, I guess, to say yes. I mean, how could you possibly say yes to something like that? Because I was asked, will I go on? If you were to ask me now, my response would be, are you crazy? What? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How can you ask somebody to go on who's don't even know the names of the actors that you're acting with?
How long is the part if it's the biggest English-speaking part?
You mean in terms of time?
Yeah, or what makes it the longest?
It's all these set speeches that Henry V. It's a historical drama written by Shakespeare that celebrated the English victories over the French. And so he just starts yelling and screaming about how good it is, every other page.
Can you do the Shakespeare accent now at all, or do you do that long?
Shakespeare accent?
Well, yeah, that's
that English accent?
Well,
no. See, that's one of the fallacies, I think, about American and Canadian actors, for that matter. You assume you've got to say be English. You've got to do it. Why?
I said accent incorrectly. I meant to say the
I'm so glad you said accent. Gave me something to say.
No, but you were very good too. You sounded British. But no, I meant the dialect, like the way he would come hither. They would talk very odd.
Come hither.
I'm really not making a good point. No. And he knows what I'm saying. He's watching me swing.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Get the universal translator.
The iambic.
Like you spoke to the Gorn with.
See, that's why I think he smokes pot.
Filled with trivia.
Listen.
His life is trivia.
We're getting,
Bill, it is.
We're getting killed. We got to get him out of here.
Iambic pentameter. Yes.
Shatner. Here we go. Shatner's World on Broadway, February 14th through the 24th, but it starts. The public starts at the 16th. Okay, at the Music Box Theater.
14th to 15th are previews. 16th is the open.
16th through the March 6th. We have the 24th, but 16th through the
16th to the 4th of March.
4th of March at the Music Box Theater. Tickets at shatnersworld.com. We're all going.
Absolutely.
We're going to see our dumb faces.
That'll be great. Come backstage,
great, man.
And we'll trade trivia.
Oh, I'd love to, Bill.
You're a great storyteller. This is going to be a very, very fun show.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can convey a story, make it very compelling. I like that.
Sure.
Great.
You've always been great here. Thanks so much, Bill.
Pleasure.
Iambic
Thank you for
pentameter.
giving me the opportunity.
All right, we got to get William out of here. William Shatner, everybody.
Robin.